never done any AI generated stuff prior to that.
Yeah.
I was learning a lot, but I had a lot of fun. And then I just played around with so many different ideas. And then there was the video, and I was
So this is your website, is that correct?
yeah, and it's no coincidence that it starts with the river,
Yeah.
the Amazon River, no less.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me a little bit about this, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, just about the video in particular that you're seeing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure. So I'm a photographer and I always have a camera in my pocket, pretty basic camera, but I like to just have it there in case I come across a little pocket of wonder here or there. And then I'll take it
Mhm.
out and go, oh, well that's fascinating. I love that pattern or that shape or that flow. And I'll take a photo and or a short video clip. So I've gathered these over the years. And then when I was making this website, I was like, well, I have a bunch of these. Let's put them together. And then I love the water theme and the river theme in particular, so that tends to be the predominant theme that you see. And yeah, so that, and again, here's the Amazon River. I just love the reflection. I think my student who was sitting next to me is like, "What is Lee seeing in the water? That's so interesting." But it was just these amazing reflections in the water that to me just looked utterly fascinating. Um, and my camera's waterproof, so it can also get pretty close to the water, which is handy.
Um, let's talk about this recent 50-50 video for Peter Gabriel. Like, tell me about that, the process. That creation, the video was stunning and just so, I mean, perfectly um compiled for the meaning behind
Mm.
the lyrics of that song. So tell me a bit more about it.
Sure. So Peter Gabriel has this funny quote talking about creativity. Um, I have it up here actually. Here's Peter Gabriel. I've always benefited from having clear rules because I think giving an artist total freedom is castrating them. When you say to an artist they can't do something, that's firing them up because we're sort of mischievous creatures by nature and we'll find an alternative route to achieve something. So, so I actually made this video a couple years ago. A contest came up with very particular frame. So here's the obstacles I had. I had basically 1 weekend to make it. And I had to use only footage I had already taken because I didn't have time to go out and take anymore. It's like there's a
Right.
time frame for this. And I had to line it up with the song IL, which is in out or input output or a number of different other connections. But essentially the song is like a perfect song for my teaching and research in terms of the interconnection of life and
Mhm.
ecological wonder, etc.
So
But
wonderful.
the trickiest obstacle really for me was the use of AI. You had to have some AI in this iteration of
Oh,
making a video for Peter Gabriel. 50-50 ended up being something different where it ended up finding a home. But
okay.
for this initial iteration, I had to use AI, and I don't know how to make AI generated video, and I don't really have an interest in making AI generated videos. So what I
Yeah.
did is I had all these clips that I previously talked about from nature, hundreds of clips, and I was like, okay, let's get a theme here. It's like, oh, water, that makes sense. Let's do water and rivers. That'll work well for me
Yeah.
for the song. And then I would, in order to create a transition between one scene or clip from another, I would take a screenshot from my own video and then ask, get an AI generated image from that. For instance, so
Hmm.
when the camera goes into the water and you see
Hmm.
that sea anemone, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that looks like hair. Let's get it. Let's generate an image of a woman with hair that looks like sea anemone tentacles. And so
Yeah.
then the image transitions from the video of the anemone to the woman with his hair. And I thought, oh, that's sort of cool. And so I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I'd never done any AI generated stuff prior to that.
Yeah.
I was learning a lot, but I had a lot of fun. And then I just played around with so many different ideas. And then there was the video, and I was pretty happy by the end of it. And when I got the email, I don't swear too often, but I swore very loudly to my wife, and she was also like, "It's got to be a scam." I'm like, no, because it's one of those things where
Yeah.
you try a bunch of things in life, and there's some things okay, if I try hard enough, this might happen. And others is like, well,
Right.
I'm going to try this, but this will never actually happen. And then this one is like, what? I made a video for Peter Gabriel, who's my by far, if I could move the camera, by far my favorite artist. It's like all Peter Gabriel right there on that bookshelf.
You talked about the AI piece, right? Where I think I'm gonna get right there. That's the
Yeah, yeah,
anemone.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's just play that for a minute.
Of everything, stuff coming out, stuff going in. just a part of everything. So we think we really live apart,
It's
'cause we
just
got two
incredible.
legs, a
I love
brain and
this
a
too.
heart.
Like,
We all
Yeah,
belong
I have a few video clips from the
together.
microscopes of
The
biology.
octopus.
yeah, like they're that integration of like land and space into our cells, right? I mean, it's just it's wonderful. So meticulously compiled together,
Mm.
like synchronized. Really
Yeah, and the
nice.
beats to the music that, yeah, boy, that took many hours to make sure that just connected just right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Out of curiosity, so you had the weekend to do it. You had a multitude of images to pull from, which is beautiful. Like, I mean, testimony to you for gathering so much over time, right? And having a library of images. Um, and it's a good idea to actually focus in on one for sure. Um, how many images did you draw from, just approximately, and how approximately how many hours did that take?
Well, in terms of the video clips I have,
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's probably thousands, but I call them as I take them to only keep sort of the cream of the crop. So I probably had, I don't know, 400 or 500 to draw from or something. But then I broke that down to like, they ended up being 30, 40 that ended up being used or something like that, right?
Yeah,
But once the theme came out, then it became okay, clear water. Then I was like,
yeah,
all right, let's focus on the water bits and leave like the plant stuff or other things out a bit more. So that helped. In terms of the number of hours, well, it's one of those things where I had this it was this weird synchronicity. I had a new Mac Studio that could actually handle video editing, and then I had a free weekend without the kids, which is extremely rare. It just happened to be that weekend, and this contest was on with Peter Gabriel. I was like, all right, let's do this. And so I
yeah,
wasn't eating or sleeping. Like it's one of those things where you're just in the creative zone, which I absolutely love. And so, that weekend, it was like maybe 4 days I had or something, like an extended weekend. I don't know how many hours that was, but it was a lot. And then I did have a chance to tweak it over the next several days. I showed it to my wife, and she's like, well, that looks weird. Don't do that. Change it here. Which I appreciated because I was like, man, that would have been embarrassing to have that in the video. uh, so it's hard to judge. It's been a couple years now, but maybe 50 to 80 hours.
wow,
And that's just the editing. That's not any of the
yeah.
taking of the footage, right? Which happened obviously before.
So beautiful. And I really love, and you do mention your wife, she really does help you a lot in your processes of like, flow of whatever it is, be it course, decisions, or
Well,
what do
certainly,
we
yeah.
integrate into things? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I
I really
first
love
started,
that.
well, after we met, she was the one
Yeah.
that really inspired me to shift from sort of a teacher or sage on the stage to like a facilitator and a co-creator and a community builder in the classroom and outside the classroom. So really, the kudos to her because uh, I could just take an idea to her. I was like, hey, I'm going to be teaching this course. Here's the topic. What do I do? And she was like, well, just try this. And I was like, that's brilliant. It would have taken me ages to figure that out. So kudos to Jen for helping me on that path and being one of my biggest teachers in being a holistic teacher.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's just end it there. I think that's a nice way to close this conversation. And thank you so much, Lee, really for taking the time, honestly. Um, I don't know, like I wish I could have like thousands of hours to chat with you right now, but I know, speaking of, you have a family that is sitting there waiting for you right now. And thank you so much for definitely taking the time with Sea Change Makers. You are one of those change makers that's making a big difference for, education and the way we're actually perceiving it. So thank you. Kudos
Thanks,
to
Teresa. And
you.
this was a joy. So thank you very much.